Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're here to do a very interesting video. I figure I'd share this with you guys. I've actually made this a couple years ago, but I realized I never talked about it on the channel. I think it'd be a unique thing to show off in the board game world per se, and in a unique situation of how I do things in my home. And that is that I made my own board game here. It is called the Oliveira Game Mashup. And the reason I made this board game, it's kind of based loosely on Mario Party, and you guys will see as I show you guys the board and how the cards work and stuff like that. And the reason I want to showcase it to you guys is may give you guys the idea to do things in your house the same way. And the main reason that I made this thing, and a lot of people who have come over and played it like it, is because of two reasons. One, the board games behind me. There are sometimes, I don't play this all the time, just to be right off the bat, because this game takes about 3 to 4 hours to play, depending on what version you're playing. And what I find interesting about it and what's cool about it is that for the board game one, because I have a board game version and a video game version in here, two different versions of the same game. So for the board game version, a lot of friends came over and sometimes they want to play a variety of games. You can see I have like 250 plus board games in my collection, but we're not going to be able to play more than like 2 or 3 a night. And sometimes it's fun to, play these board games in a more rapid style succession. Now, of course, you can't do that with all the board games because some of these board games are 60 minutes long, an hour and a half to play, 2 hours to play, or some just don't make sense. But there are a lot of games that you can kind of do, and I'll show you guys that when we do the overview, that you can actually incorporate to do in a mini game compilation. So basically what I did is I created a Mario Party board, and then you're walking around the board trying to collect stars using your coins just like you do in Mario Party, but the mini games are the board games, and the board games behind me are incorporated, and I do certain board games, and sometimes the board games maybe play 1 round of this board game, play 2 rounds of that board game, or I'll show you guys some of the cards as examples, but that's the first side of it. Then I also made another variation of this, which is in this box, which is the video game version of it. You guys know on this channel, I have a lot of variety of things that I love to show people, when they come over. But it's hard to show people all the cool stuff that I get all the time on this channel when it comes to things like, VR or, things that are kind of out there. It could be, arcade machines. It could be retro video games. It could be newer video games. It could be a lot of variety of different things that I have around the house. And I'll show you some of those cards as well that aren't something that we're always going to play all the time. So I have it incorporated into this game as well. And again, I did both of these versions because a lot of people like to come over and experience a variety of different things in my house. And I like people to experience a lot of variety, whether it be the board games or everything else in my house. So this is a good way to kind of match that all up together when we're in the mood to play this. Like I said, it's not something we're going to play all the time. It hasn't been something we played all the time because it takes 4 or 5 hours to play, so it needs to be dedicated. And sometimes we do want to play a dedicated game that's going to take 2 to 3 hours to play. Or we do want to play a specific video game or whatever the case may be. Or, this only plays a certain amount of people. The board game version plays up to 8, and the video game version only plays for 4. So obviously, if I have a group that doesn't hit those limits, then these games aren't going to work. But again, this was really cool to make. I had a lot of fun making it, and a lot of my friends who have played the board game version love it, and they like playing it. And same thing with the video game version as well. So I figure I'd share it with you guys. Maybe you guys can give me ideas for making this even better. If you guys have ideas for me that will tell me like, hey, you should do this for the mini games, or you should do this for Bowser, or you should do. Leave those comments down below because I definitely want to hear them because this all came from my head, and more heads are better than one. So I'm sure you guys have ideas for me, and I'd be happy to listen to them and maybe incorporate them into the game because this is really cool. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
All right, guys, so here is the Oliveira game mashup art that we're looking at right here. So this is the cover that we designed on here, as you can see. Has a little bit of VR, a little bit of controllers, little board that you're walking around, a little bit of, fun that we had with the actual cover of this thing. And let's go ahead and open this up. First thing you see when you open this up is the tool rules. Like I said, there is a video game mashup version and a board game mashup version. So these are the rules for the board game version here, as you can see, where it tells you how to lay everything out in case I forget on how all of that works. So we'll put that to the side, and then we'll look up, and then this is the video game version. which I have, which I'm trying to open. And this goes over all those rules and everything that goes on in there. The next thing that's in here is we use some of the characters. If you guys remember that game Monopoly Gamer Edition, that's where some of these pieces came from because it worked perfectly. That you can use, these Nintendo characters as pieces and stuff like that to move around the board. So that's where I got these from, and that's where these pieces are coming from. You can see them all right here, and that's how everyone can be all these different pieces in the actual games that we're playing and choose their favorite character, and people know these characters, so obviously it's fun for them to be able to use these. And yeah, we have all these variety of characters that you see there that people can use. The other thing that we use is, of course, money. These are the single ones. This is also ones that came in them in that Monopoly Gamer Edition. These are worth 5, as you can see that they're labeled with 5, and some of them are worth 1. So we have those coins, and then we have the bigger coins here in case we need to exchange. These are worth, I believe, if I remember the rules correctly, these are worth 25, and these also are themed to Mario, as you can see right there on those. So we have those that we use. And then I believe these are, if I remember correctly, used as the golden stars. So this is what I give away for the stars as a little video game golden thing. These are made from like nice metal and stuff like that, not plastic. And this is when you get a star in the game, this is what you collect. So that's what that is. And then, of course, we got all the cards. I'm going to go ahead and put the cards to the side for the time being. And we'll take a look at those in a minute for each of the board games because I want to show you the board in and of itself first. So let's put all of these aside and see what we have going on. And then we'll get to the cards afterwards. So the last thing in this box, the board itself is used for both games because there's no reason for it to change. So it is for both. So let me go ahead and open this. So here it is right here. This is my Mario Party board game version that we have here going on. Again, incorporating the Mario idea where the blue spaces are when you get 3 coins, red spaces you get negative, the question marks, the exclamation points, all those do kind of what you would expect them to do. And then we added a little bit of art for each one, just to make it a little bit more fun. Being that, I like board games, there's a board game area over here with some dice over here in the corner and some meeples and stuff like that. You can see the ghost is over here, so when you get to the ghost, you could do exactly what you would expect to do in a ghost. You got the meeples over here, and then over here you got video game land that you go walk through. So you got the video games area over here, and depending on what spot you're on, depends on what you actually play. So when you walk around here, you got the VR world over here. You got the little PlayStation symbol. VR's over here with the little headset. We got Ready Player One's keychain. We got Beat Saber right there, which is awesome. We got the Oliveira Mashup logo right here in the middle of the board as you traverse through each of these and go in your different directions, as you can see there. And then when you go through this arcade spot here, you got this arcade drawn here, and then this is the arcade area. We got Pac-Man up here in the corner. So, like I said, it is really, really cool how we designed this board just to have a little bit of fun on how you actually do it. And you can see the start is right here, and then you start over here and kind of work your way around. You can either go this way or that way, or come up through here to go this way, or go up through that way. Whichever way you want to end up going, you can. So right here, I have all the cards laid out of the board game version. So we're going to take a look at these first, just so you guys can get an idea of how I actually did this. So I'm not going to go through every single card because we'll be here for a while. But just to give you guys an idea on each one, you can see all of them are laid out with the usual ideas on how you play Mario Party. 1 versus all, duel, free-for-all, team, battle, item shop cards, Bowser cards, and random cards. So, for example, some of these stacks are not that large because it's hard to find games that would work for board games that are 1 versus all. But you got detective clubs, and I put 8 players, rules for 1 round. Either the conspirator wins or the detectives win. Charmeleon, 8 players, rules 1 card, Charmeleon, 1 versus all. Spyfall, 1 round, spy versus all. So that works great. Werewords, 1 round, werewolf versus the villagers. Then you have things like Artist Goes to New York, 1 round, artist versus all. So just games that are board games that work when 1 versus all. Murder in Hong Kong, murderer versus all. So you got like some of those games that are 1 versus all that you can play with my board games that even though you're not playing the full versions of this, like murder versus all, but they work really well in a setting of playing just 1 round of it. Same thing with like Spyfall and stuff because their nature is to work that way. Then you got some duel games over here. We'll go through a few of these. You got Brave Rats, play one round as the winner. You got Color Scheme for 2 players, beat your opponent on the last game board that I have. You got Clask over here, which is the board game Class. First to score 3 goals win, which is actually a physical board game that I have here. That's really, really fun to play. You got the game of Cat and Mouse, winner best of 3. And I even put how long each of these are expected to take on the corner of all of these cards, so I have an idea on how long these are going to take to play. That's why I say these games take 4 to 5 hours to play in total to get like 20 stars. Or sorry, play 20 rounds like a regular Mario Party game. Beat your opponent in duel, in flash duel. You know, things like that when it comes to some of these games are cool. Now let's look at some of the free-for-all ones. Hues and Clues, 12 players, most points wins. Tapple, 3 rounds. Winner is the person who wins the most rounds. Downforce, most money wins. You got One Card Wonder. I don't have any rules listed on that one for some reason, nor this one. Creature Feature, 6 play. Oh, you know what? Those are from the last game board that I don't have anymore, so we can't use those. You got Cat Lady, 4 players, most points wins. You got Stop Thief, 4 players, most money wins. You got Texas Hold'em. You got Zombie Dice that you can play 8 players. Be the first one to 13 brains. You got Green Team Wins that plays 12 players. Player with the most points wins. Long Shot the Dice Game, 8 players. Player with the most money wins. Wooden Race, 1 racer on the track. Guerrilla Marketing, whoever wins, wins. Rise of the Augustus, 6 players, whoever wins, wins. And you got, obviously some games are just, you win, you win. Same thing with Camel Up, 8 players, you win, you win. And some of these games you could skip over if you're trying to play a faster version. Because like I said, I have the time underneath for most of these. Slap Shots, 7 players, most wins. Hey, It's My Fish. Welcome to 8 players. A bunch of these variety of games that you can see on here for free-for-all. Then we got team games like Bang the Dice Game. Outliers versus the Deputies, excuse me. You got Tags, play 2 rounds, the team with the highest score wins. I Hate Zombies, winner wins. Code Break, 8 players. You got Wavelength. You got Tumbling Dice. Ice Cool 2, which is a fun game to play. Caveman Curling. All of these variety of games that you can play. Drop Mix. And they all have their rules on each one. So a variety of different ones. Dr. Panic. Brick Party. Time's Up. So a lot of great team games that you can play. Family Feud. Because I have a Family Feud card game. Pit Crew. Unusual Suspects. Like I said, a good variety of team games that are board games that will work in a team setting, which is really fun. Then we got some here for Battle. You got America, 6 players. Lunacy, and each one of them have their own rules. Wits and Wagers, play 3 rounds, first and second score points. Play 3 rounds, first and second score points for Junk Art. Fairy Tale Gloom, first person to kill the 2 families wins. Going Gone, first and second score score with the most money scores points. Speechless, 1 round, first and second place score points. Spaced Out, first and second. You guys get the idea. Master Fox. Funko Chicken. We didn't play this at all. So again, a good variety of board games that you can play that I have in the house that kind of fit that theme. And then, like I said, we also have some random cards when you hit the random space that you have to play just for one. All players play, win together. If you all win together, you score 10 points. If not, you lose points. Fun facts, get a second score. A good score or higher based on the game rules. Then you got 5-Minute Marvel where you lose 10 coins if you lose the game or win 10 coins as a group if you win. Another cooperative one, Magic Maze, 8 players. All players play, lose 10 coins if you lose. Everyone plays, highest wins 10 points for Bop It. So I have Bop It in the house. You got Simon, the Simon game. You got Fuse. The Mind. So a lot of variety. Blackjack. A lot of variety of different games that fit that theme of when you hit the random space that random things may happen to you, whether you have to play cooperatively together or solo or whatever the case may be. Then you got the Bowser spaces. What happens when you hit the Bowser space? You got things like Beat That. Choose random minigame, lose the game, lose 10 coins. Curses. Grab a curse card. Do that for the next 10 minutes or lose 10 coins. So there's a curse card game that makes you do retarded things throughout the game, which would be fun to play in a board game. Help Wanted that you can play. You got a Wet Head, if you guys have heard of that game. Take one out to see if you get wet. Lose 20 coins if you do. Game of War with the player on your left. Lose 10 coins if you lose. Answer a trivia card from the game Guts if you lose 10 coins off. Take a piece off the Jenga tower. Lose 10 coins if you drop the whole tower. Answer and reveal a Never Have I Ever card for Bowser to everyone in the group. Give all players 3 coins. Back to start, and nothing happens. So those are all the Bowser spaces that I have in here so far. And then the last one we have here is the item shop. To know what the item shop does, 10 coins make everyone get a Never Have I Ever card that they have to answer. 10 coins, use when a random game shows up. Instead, you choose the game that has already been played in the pile and play that one instead. So if you're good at a game, you can use that and try to get your points that way. 25 coins, make another player lose. And they roll a dice, and that's how many coins they actually lose. Use 2 immediately. 5, have a dual game of your choice. Player choose the person, winner gets 20 coins. Then this one's So Clover, 6 players. Get a good score to win. Oh, this is actually not for the item shop. This should be random. That's why it didn't make sense. So those are the ones that are in the item shop there for the 5, 25, 10, and 10. So those are all the cards that I have in there. Well, most of the cards that I just showed you anyway. And again, that is for the board game mashup based on playing the board game version of the game. So let me show you some of the same cards here for the video game version of what I have. So here are the cards laid out here for the video game version. Now, of course, this video game version, there's a lot more opportunity to get a lot of cards created because it's not as hard as finding board games that are going to fit the length of this game. So the video game version is much easier. So there's a lot more variety in cards and stuff like that because I have a lot of things in the house that I can incorporate into here. That's much easier than, the video game version. And I actually forgot a pack here. We forgot the dual games. Big stack of dual games right here. And you can see that we have covers like we created for each of these and stuff like that. So I sometimes switch that around because free-for-all will just cover the free-for-all for the board games over there and co-op and stuff. That we kind of just switch them around because they're the same top cover cards. But you can see we have nicely designed ones at the top. But let's go ahead and go through some of these here. So the dual cards here, for example. Karaoke Cab. Choose the same song. Highest score wins when you duel someone. Dirty Driving on My Racing Cab. Fastest time on the racing machine. Same thing on the Mario Kart DX. Buggy Racing. Dragon's Lair. Lasting the longest. Donkey Kong. Highest score in the cocktail cab. Same thing with Pac-Man. Play Crash Bandicoot on my 3D Vision computer. Fastest person to finish the first level wins. Play Street Fighter in 3D on my 3D Vision computer 1v1. Skylanders Imagination 1v1 race. Use the 3DS and play Sega Puyo Puyo 1 versus 1 winner. Ring Fit Adventure 1 versus 1 minigame. Tetris 99. Brain Age. Clubhouse games on the DS. Fantasy Strike, the minigame. Clask 1v1 up to 3 goals. All of these variety of games that kind of work in this setting. Shuffle Shot. Wii U Zombie is a good one. Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a great one to play duel on the arcade machine because there's a mode in there to play 1v1. Sports Champions on the PlayStation. Just a variety of different things that just work, like I said, in a setting like this. Space Wars, MotorStorm on the PS3, 1v1 race. Mario and Sonic. We got Crazy Taxi in here, Mortal Kombat 11. The Taco Drumming game. You play with the drums, a variety of different ones here. You got DJ Hero that you can play on here, 1v1. You got Pong Hockey that you can play. All these variety of games here for the dueling games. So that's a nice stack of dueling games that we will put here to the side. So then we got some battle mini games over here. If we take a look at those. Croconoil, Crash Team Racing, which is cool. We got Point Blank 3 on my shooting cabinet that you can play in mini games. And all of these have their own rules as you guys are looking at, like Power Stone 2, first and second place score. You do a death match. Doritos Crash Course on the Xbox 360, first and second place score. Horizon Chase Turbo, Screen Cheat, all these kinds of things. Buck Hunter Safari on my Buck Hunter arcade. Bomberman Party on Sega Saturn. Mario Kart. Sports Friends when you joust each other. That's such a fun party game. Marvel Battlegrounds on Disney Infinity. That's a good one. Everyone gets to be a character and stuff like that. You got my darts in the house that are incorporated to this one. We got my Retro Raccoons arcade machine. Zombie dice on my digital board game table. So good variety of battle mini games that you can play here as well against everyone, which is really fun. My virtual pinball machine is also there as well that I just saw towards the end. So that's a great one to play hot seat multiplayer with virtual pinball and battle each other to get the highest score. So those are some good ones. And then some of the spaces that you hit on here may be part of VR. So there's a VR stack depending on what happens there. And we got a variety of VR games that you can play. I have to update some of these because I haven't added VR games in a while. But Kayak VR Mirage, same level, fastest time wins. Zombieland Headshot, Switchback, same level, highest score wins. Pistol Whip, same song, highest score wins. So you get the idea with what the rules are going to be for most of these. Star Wars Dojo, whoever gets further in the Dojo wins. Highest score in Racket NX. You know, all these variety of games. Play one level, highest score wins on Robo Recall. Same song on Beat Saber, try to get the highest score. So basically, this stuff just lets people play a variety of my games that I own in the house, and you know, have fun with it and stuff like that. That we wouldn't otherwise get to all in one night, but we get to play a variety. Like, hey, some arcade games, some board games, some VR games, some of this, some of that, and that's what kind of makes this stuff a little bit more interesting. So free for all is the biggest deck. We're definitely not going to go through all of them here, but free for all, you know, you got Big Buck Hunter, Retro Raccoons, you got darts that you can play, the Golden Tea Machine, the arcade collection, and spades on the digital board game table. So Infinity game table. We got some Hungry Hippos, Scrabble on there, dominoes, warlords on the Pong machine. A lot of variety. The Just Dance series, the Ultimate Alliance, Wand Wars on Steam. That's a good game. So again, there's just a good variety of everything. World Class Bowling on the trackball. Wii U Party is a great one. Gauntlet 4 is really fun. So there's just a good variety. Treadnuts is another good one. I know Towerfall is definitely in here because that's such a great game to play. But a lot of these games are only 4 players, which is why I said the video game version is limited to 4 as opposed to the board game version, because most of these video games are going to be limited to 4. Unreal Tournament, you know, a good variety of stuff. Vikings Attack, Star Wall. Again, there's just a ton of cards here to be able to play that make perfect sense in a free-for-all fashion. And that's obviously going to be the biggest pile because you can play a lot of 4-player local multiplayer games. Then we got some dual touchscreen games. This is when it gets, like, you know, when a card comes out to tell you to play one of these, then you play one of these. And these are just a bunch of things that I have on my Mega Touch downstairs. So it's just telling you to play random things on the Mega Touch. It used to be JVL because that's the machine I used to have, which is why it says JVL, but I got rid of that thing. So there's some iPad stuff on here as well. JVL stuff that is now on the Mega Touch instead, but all the same difference. And yeah, these are all touchscreen that it tells you to play and try to beat each other, which is fun to be able to use those touchscreen devices that I have. Then we got team games on here. So anything that you can play that is a team game, things like Code Break, NFL Blitz, Pong Doubles, NBA Jam, because obviously all this stuff you can play 2v2, Moving Out, Luigi's Mansion, Mario and Sonic, Killer Queen Black, which is a great game. Crokinole, I actually have a Crokinole board that people play. We got Shows on MAME, Hyperball Tournament on Steam, Trailblazers, Cluckbuster, all these variety of machines that or games that you can play. Lethal League Blaze is a good one. Like I said, Move It and Throw In. I know so many good games on here. Super Volley Blast, Rocket League, all these games that you can play 2v2 in a team to be able to compete, which is obviously a ton of fun when you get put into teams. And then you got one versus all. It's always the smallest deck because it's obviously hard to find one versus all games to play on stuff like this, but we got some unique ones on here. Kane and Lynch on the Xbox 360, Undercover Cop game mode, 2 360, 2 on the Xbox and 1 solo versus 3. We got a little LAN party going for that one. Attack of the Squirrels, 1 on the Quest versus all on cell phones. That's a good one. You got Pac-Man Versus that you can play, 1 versus others. You got Tank on the Wii U. You got Nintendo Land Animal Crossing on the Wii U. Nintendo Land Mario Chase. Nintendo Land Metroid Blast. and Nintendo Land Luigi's Mansion. That's all we have for one versus all because there's not a lot of one versus all games out there. So if you guys know of any, definitely let me know. But that's the stack of what's in here currently of games that I own. Then we got some cooperative games. You got like Rainbow Six Vegas 2 that you can play cooperatively in Terrorist Hunt, Super Mario 3D World. You got Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 that you have to try and get 2 out of 3 stars together in a certain level. You got Overcooked 2 on the Switch, play a random level and get at least 2 stars to win. Sonic Team Racing where you play together and you have to win the race together. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes where you have to deform the bomb on the quest. You got Pikmin Nintendo Land, and then Battle Chest Zelda on Nintendo Land. Let's Sing on the Switch, and you have to play it cooperatively and get a high score. Space Team VR is another one, and Color Queen Black. So again, some really good games on here that you can play and have a ton of fun with when it comes to playing these. So we'll put that here to the side. And then we also have some random ones from Bowser. Trivia from the 90s box. Lose 10 coins if you don't get the trivia question right. Play a game of Balance on Beast, which is a board game solo one. You must score 75 points or higher. If not, you lose 20 coins. This one's just give player 3 coins, go back to start, and nothing happens. So that is what the Bowser deck looks like currently for this. And then we got a random pile, not too many things in here, but random piles. Play Bubble Hockey versus 2. Winner gets 10 coins. Play a game of darts with the person on your right. Winner gets 10 coins. Play Nerf War with my Nerf guns around the house. With the person on your left, whoever gets hit first loses and the other person gets 10 points. Play a touchscreen game. So this is how the touchscreen games come out that I just showed you the stack of. That's how that comes out. Play a random local game. Winner gets 10 coins. And play a VR game with the person on your left. Winner gets 10 coins. So that's how the VR deck comes out that we were talking about. So that is all the cards for all the different decks like I talked about. Like I said, all of these have instructions that I have, laid out. There's nothing really in here that's that crazy. It just kind of goes through, what the spaces are. Blue spaces, 3 coins. Red spaces, 3 coins to the bank. Bowser spaces, pick a Bowser card. It tells me everything I need to set up. The video game one is much more complicated, so it just reminds me like, hey, these are the games that are in here, so you need to make sure the PlayStation 2 works, and 2 DSs are charged, and the Xbox is working, and the projector is ready to go, and the Kinect is ready to go, because those things might come up. Your VR headsets are ready. MAME Arcade needs to be turned on. Things like that I had to remember to do when I was making this, so I know that they're turned on. Tells everybody what figure to select, and then the rules of play while you're actually playing and what all of the random events do. The item shop and what the item shop does and what the Bowser space does and the rules during play and what the lightning space and the chess space does and the gold space does and all those things that happen throughout the game are kind of listed in here. And of course, the same thing goes for, the other, the board game version here that we have a little bit short of a rule. But it's the same exact idea of things that I need to set up. And then the rules on what all the spaces do as well. Yeah, I think this stuff is pretty cool, in my opinion, to be able to have something like this, like I said, because it allows me to showcase a lot of new things that I have in my house that maybe people don't have. And I think now, doing this video, I'm actually going to incorporate a few new cards into these decks because it's been a while since I've added new video games to this deck and new board games over there. And obviously, every once in a while, board games not so much because it is hard to find board games that you can play in 30 minutes or less, preferably 15 minutes or less, that could easily be incorporated into being a mini game. So those don't get added too often. But for video games in VR, there's probably plenty of things I can add that aren't in here yet because it's been a while since I added anything to these cards. So, and obviously a lot of things have come out. So it'd be fun to go through these and add some more cards to these decks, which is what I'm about to do. But yeah, that is an overview of my Mario Party board game. Let's get to the table and wrap this up. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video here on the Oliveira game mashup, the board game version and the video game version. Gave you guys maybe some ideas if you guys are in the same boat as me that have a lot of variety of things that you like to show people who come over, whether it be board games or a lot of other things in your house. This may be a great way to do it for you guys as well, and this gives you guys an idea on how you can set it up and have some fun. Like I said, my friends love it, and we've had a great time playing it. And maybe you guys and your friends will as well. And like I mentioned in the beginning, If you guys have your own opinions on what I can change, what I can add that would fine tune this to be even better, leave those comments down below. I'd be really interested to hear them and see what can make this board game version or the video game version better than what it already is. But thank you guys for watching. Till next time.